This is the new 2026 Mercedes S-Class, and no, that's not VFX. For the first time in history, the three-pointed star lights up on the bonnet. The world's best car is back with an extensive facelift, the biggest facelift that S-Class has ever had, and I think impact that it really needed in this generation that it didn't have previously. But it's not just an update that's skin deep. 50% plus of the components of this facelifted S-Class are either all new or revised, and it's got an engine lineup that shows Mercedes' renewed commitment to ICE, featuring not just a revised V8 and an i6, but also a plug-in and indeed a Guard V12 version. So guys, I'm Raz, welcome back to the channel, and what a car to be standing in front of. I love the S-Class, huge fan of it, had a ton of them in my family. My father was a huge fan of them. And this car represents 140 years since Carl Benz made that patent motor wagon, and it's been 140 years of slowly refining, improving, and perfecting the car. It began not just with the patent motor wagon, but we go from the Pontons down to the first true S-Class in the W223. Every generation since then has pretty much been the leader in its segment, some by a larger margin than perhaps others, but undoubtedly the S-Class has always been the S-Class, right? And in our newest current generation of 223, that was also true, but it was a little more subdued. It set the course for every other Mercedes Benz, as S-Class often does, with that new interior, with the vertical screen, but almost to a fault, because then we saw that in a lot of other cars. It kind of diluted the impact of S-Class. Similarly, the outside looking very similar to predecessor, and kind of blending into the other saloons within the lineup as well. I think that the facelift actually addresses a lot of that, particularly visually, and visual aesthetic impact is really important on this side of the market, and I think this facelifted car looks absolutely stunning the first time that you see it. And it's not just from a design perspective, it's from a technical perspective as well, where, as I said, 50% of the components in this car are either new or revised. But let's start from a design perspective, right? The best way to analyze that is to compare this directly to our pre-facelift. There, now you can really appreciate the 20% larger front grille. You can appreciate how much impact you get from, I keep using the word impact, please forgive me, because that's the only word that's coming in my mind at the moment. So you have the ambient glow around the grille, which makes it more obvious, helps the thing stand out. And talking about standing out, how can we not talk about the lighted star, which is incredible. Now, yes, it does match the styling of the E-Class. And I know I said, look, the previous one was guilty of the fact that it was very similar to the other saloons. But I think it really suits this face of the car. It's funny how the linked lights and grille didn't work at all for their dead EQ series, but somehow for the E-Class and the S-Class seems to work so spectacularly well. It's almost like it was designed for these first and then they were rolled onto the EVs later. That's a really good look. The other thing you'll notice is just how S63 the lower air intakes are, like massively so. It's the first thing I thought when I saw the AMG line here, that is pretty much copy-paste S63, which is a huge upgrade for the standard AMG line. So guys, as we start, this is what the front end looks like without the lights on, which I think is important, and probably not enough people are going to show you, because often this is how the car will look. And the other thing that you must understand about this particular one, it's high-tech silver and it's got the night package, so it hasn't got the bright chrome work, it's got the darkened chrome. Now, if I take the key out, and one nice thing is, just before I turn this on, bear with me 2 seconds, is that the key is the traditional metal, bigger Mercedes key. And I make reference to that because CLA, GLC have seen this newer, I'm going to say it, epoxier, smaller, plasticky key that looks the same, but almost feels like a USB stick version. S-Class doesn't have that, has a proper key. Now, I'm going to unlock it. See the star lights, 2 big stars on each side, our illuminated star in the middle, which I think is such a great idea. We first saw it in that Vision V concept, and we theorized then, yeah, it's probably going to come on something like S-Class. Well, here it is. And it won't be in every territory, because the EU has some law where an ambient light can't be a certain distance away from, I think, the grille light or something ridiculous. I don't know. I don't make these rules, but if you can get it in your territory, get it, because that looks great. Apart from that, of course, you have the ambient light surround around our new grille, which highlights it really nicely. It's subtle. I have this in my E53 as well, and it's something I love because it just brings out a bit of where the grille is. And this is a bigger grille. It's 20% bigger, like I said. It really looks it. What's lovely is, and you won't see it in this one, you'll see it more in the black car that we're going to look at, it's a very angular grille now. It's less, the other one seemed really oval to me in the predecessor, and you could see that when we used our RBR VFX just now. But yeah, a lot more angular, a lot bigger. You got the stars in here, the pressed stars, sitting within the grille here in a dark chrome, which look great. They also exist within our radar as well, so they haven't skimped out there, which is fantastic. Then of course you've got the black gloss element that links it to the lights, like we said, like E-Class, but I think that helps. Lower air intakes as well. Very, very S63. They might be identical. They might be. My VFX would have told you whether they are, because I would have done that work already by now. Yes, I do all the VFX, it's just me. I need to keep telling you that, because everybody gets surprised, like, what, it's you? Yes, I have some talent, guys. I'm not just a pretty face. Shut up, Jamie. But yeah, that's the front end. It's beautiful. It's nice. The lights, new digital light cluster. And these have seen massive upgrades, in fact. And we'll go more into that when I drive the car, because I think it's more relevant then. But 40% better in terms of being able to light a road. It's got greater distance. It's got the ability to now curve based on map data. These lights are going to be absolutely insane, and I can't wait to actually experience them when we're going for a drive. Now, if we start to come around the side of this, again, you can see most of it is blacked out. You'll notice this. Now, every S-Class will have this element, which is extra sensors and cameras. These are to, at some point, when your region allows for it, give you full point-to-point autonomous driving. That is possible at the moment in the world. It will start in China, where it is possible. Maybe roll out in the US where the regulations are a bit better. Europe will probably get it in 2200 or something like that. Or maybe not even then, knowing them. What's cool is, and this is, again, us coming back to a more, I want to say retro, it's not retro. It's the great design of the 2000s with Mercedes. The twin highlighted wing mirror here and your indicator, which last time I think we saw this was C190 AMG GT, I think. So it's nice to have that back. It was such a Mercedes thing, and we got rid of it for no reason, so that's lovely. The trims here, they look great. They look a bit different. I'm pretty sure those are updated to my memory. And what's nice is that our door handles, because this is night package, they also match in night package as well. They're not chrome like they used to be. So everything harmonious, everything, if you've blackened it out, it will be blackened out properly. These wheels are a new AMG line design. They're lovely. First time I saw them was on E53, where they are an option, I believe. And they've got the high sheen finish with the gloss black inside. Probably my favorite of the ones I've seen on this launch so far. There is a new multi-spoke 20-inch wheel that is finished in an all-new high-pressure process that is so intricate that it can only be done by that process. If I'm able to show you the B-roll of that, I will, because I'm intending to go see that car later. If I can't, then I'll chuck some images on the screen, but really impressive. Then we come to the rear, which predictably has the upgrade that we thought it did, which was the star lights sitting within here. They have three. The designers were saying they wanted to have three, as it's always been 3 dots or 3 lights for S-Class in the modern era, and they wanted to do that on the front, but it didn't quite look right, but they maintained that on the rear, which is good. Now, if I wake them up, you see you get this welcome animation. A lot of people don't like these. Again, I live with it with my E53, and I find it such a nice feature that immediately you just know that this is a Mercedes Benz. And what other brand is really doing something like this at the moment? Now, the best example of this is looking at the pre-facelift, particularly in the dark, where the light silhouette is just a straight line. It could be any car. With the new one, you just won't mistake it for anything else but a Mercedes Benz. We often complain that a lot of brands have very similar lighting ideas. Well, this is not a similar lighting idea to anybody. Now, what's nice is in the facelift is you can't see it as well in this darkened one, but the chrome strip is much slimmer. And then you have a black gloss strip that goes underneath that. We'll show you that on the black car, where you'll get a much better idea. This is, of course, the plug-in hybrid, which means the battery is right there. So there's been no additional development in terms of getting you more space in there. That is exactly as is. Now, let's head to the black car, which has got an all new paint shade that is, I don't even know if it's going to come out right on screen, but in person it is spectacular. Right guys, now that is going to look much more familiar to you. S-Class is only an S-Class really for some people when it's in all black, and this is a new manufacturer sparkling black, which in person it is absolutely stunning. Apparently there is glass flecks in the paintwork, and I can believe it looking at it. Why don't you come in closer? Let's get the paint out the way first. Can you guys see that? Can you see the sparkle in the paintwork? That is the nicest black shade I think that Mercedes has ever done. There's a lot of sparkles of other color in there as well, and it is really, really stunning, particularly then against the bright white manufacturer interior that I'll show you in a minute that I love, and I've got that on my GT as well, so I'm a bit biased, but it's beautiful in this. Now, when you look at the front end of this all black car, you don't notice that E-Class style gloss black part that connects the light to the grille as much, so the whole thing looks a bit more traditional S-Class if you're not a fan of that. I think that element is nice, but you also get a much more uniform look with this particular spec. The other great thing about this spec is the chrome work. I love chrome work on cars, particularly Mercedes Benz cars. And for S-Class, this looks amazing because look how much clearer now we can see the illuminated star on the hood against both the chrome and the black paintwork. And now I think on this spec, you can truly see how much bigger the grille is. You can see those elements that I spoke to you about, the angular shapes on the edge of it. Even the stars in between, you can see them better because of the chrome work. So I really like that. I like the fact that you see it around, like even the AMG line air intakes, they're much clearer on this. So lovely. If we come around the side as well, wheels as we have on current S-Class, they look great in the silver here. You've got your welcome light carpet here that says Mercedes Benz, and that's a lovely welcome to your passengers and yourself when you get in the car. And then when we come around the rear, as I said, you can see that chrome strip a bit better now. It's a very slim chrome strip. It's really nicely done. Then you've got the gloss black at the bottom there. So that ties that off. We've got our silver exhausts at the bottom as well. Are they real? Yes, they're open. The exhausts are open. They listen to feedback. How much have we moaned about this? That's fantastic. But yeah, that looks great. That is your typical S-Class look. Black with a nice contrasty white interior. This is what most people can end up ordering, and thankfully it looks pretty stunning in my opinion. So guys, today's episode of RBR is sponsored by a very special sponsor, and that is Exeter, the smart wallet company trusted by over 1 million customers. But let me start by being completely honest with you guys. I've been approached by a lot of wallet companies. I've done some in the past, and as someone who has used smart wallets, this one has blown me away. It's the upgrade I didn't know that I needed. This is their Card Holder Pro. It's a slim wallet that can fit 1 to 14 cards. But check this out. Whoa, that is the best I've ever seen. This is their metal card ejecting trigger, and it makes accessing these tightly packed cards so fun and easy. It gets better though. Not only has this got RFID blocking technology so no one can skim off your cards, but it's also got a massive add-on ecosystem. So you can tailor this to how you want it with all the various add-ons that they offer on their website. But my favorite add-on by far is this. Their Finder card. And this is the missing piece in my life because I lose everything. Now I'm not going to lose my wallet. This you can pair to Find My app on your iPhone. It of course can slot neatly into your Exeter wallet. Now I can finally tag my wallet in a slim way, and gone are those days of losing your wallet, having to reorder all your cards and driving license. A thing of the past thanks to this. I chose the 3K carbon obviously to match my cars, and I love the build quality and just how ergonomic and nice it feels in your hand. And finally, you do get a lifetime warranty as well. So it's going to be so fun to travel with. Now, speaking of travel, Exeter have sent me something else because they know I travel a lot for press trips. Check this out. This is their game-changing travel pack and portable vacuum kit. Pack your clothes in this tough nylon carry-on sized vacuum bag and just use their portable air pump or any vacuum to compress the bag, and voila. 60% more space, waterproof, hygienic, so much smaller, and it can double as a laundry bag at the end of your trip as well, so hugely useful. Now they already have a huge 35% off deal on at the moment, but as an RBR viewer, you can get even more. Use the code REMOVE and you'll get another 10% off, or use this QR code here. There's a link in the description. And you can finally upgrade your wallet game or get a gift for someone you love. A huge thanks to Exeter for sponsoring this episode of RBR. Now, let's get back to the car. So the design gets a much needed upgrade versus the predecessor. That all looks great, but that's just skin deep. Let's go under the skin. And the engine lineup is just fantastic. Let's start with the S580, which is a V8, and this is an all new generation. And what you're going to find with these engines is this is Mercedes renewing their commitment to ICE cars going forward. Now with this V8, it's the M177 Evo. It's an evolution of the V8 that we had previously, but this is revised in many ways, including the fact that it's a flat plane crank versus a cross plane. Now, AMG fans' ears may have perked up there, and they should if they haven't, because I've told you that the future AMG engine potentially, not potentially, they've confirmed it, Ola Colonais did, it's a flat plane crank new V8. This M177 Evo, probably the basis for that going forward. So this is exciting, and it means that this engine is going to last a long time. But in this S-Class, it's been developed in a way that it's A, compliant for many years in the future, but B, also provides more power than we had in the previous version. So we've seen an uptick of, I believe, around about 35 horsepower in this versus what we had in the last V8. And thanks to all those revisions, we get a little bit more torque as well. And it's great to have then a V8 S-Class sitting right at the top as your flagship. So that's great. It's so great to have a great V8 as your flagship S-Class. But it's not just the V8 that has seen improvements. Our i6 has also got an evolution engine here with the M256 Evo, seeing significant upgrades to give it a bit more torque, and it's got better NVH now as well. But the one that I'm going to tell you to get, predictably if you follow the channel, is the plug-in hybrid, which already was a fantastic car, now improved with that new i6 paired to the e-motor and the battery in a P2 hybrid setup, but now giving you 75 horsepower more, but still maintaining that great 100 kilometers of daily electric miles, which is fantastic. In addition to this, I love the fact that Mercedes still believe in the diesel. And they've upgraded their fantastic diesel engine here to now have an electrically heated catalytic converter that essentially helps deal with exhaust gases, etc., in a better way. And they've upgraded again the diesel to be more future-proof than before, which I'm so happy about, because the S-Class diesel has just been such an icon all around the world, and I really believe in the diesel, and I'm sure that this is going to be a fabulous car. Now let's talk about the suspension, where Airmatic comes as standard, which is fantastic. The other thing that comes as standard is 4.5-degree rear wheel steering, and you can option up to 10-degree rear wheel steering, which is quite good. But there's another suspension option, the E-Active suspension, which uses the 48-volt system here in order to manage the damping at each wheel individually, and it also uses cloud data in countries where that is available. It gives you things like the curved driving mode, and essentially allows the car to react at 1,000 times in a millisecond. So your E-Active suspension will be the best thing to make this the most luxurious S-Class possible. Now there's other variants to this car as well. One involves a V12, and that is the S-Guard. The S-Guard has a history of being one of the safest cars on the road, and the newer version here adheres to VR10, which is the greatest of passenger safety. It's got the ability to deal with explosives. It can fire suppress as well, just by itself. It has an emergency air system to help you against air attacks as well, which is quite useful. I'm okay, it's fine. And of course, it's got a V12, so it will simply just soldier on. Now, in terms of other variants, yeah, they'll probably be on my back. I can't talk about that. I'll let you surmise why I can't talk about that. Let's ignore that for a second. The other one, of course, will be the AMG, the S63, which currently is a P3 hybrid car, right, in our pre-facelift with the V8. But now that we know that this flat plane crank one is coming, my question is, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm just musing with you, will it be, again, a P3 hybrid car just with the new engine, which it could be? Would it be a P2 hybrid, which I would prefer because you get a lot more range and it's a simpler system? Or could it just be a mild hybrid S63 this time, with essentially just pure combustion engine? I have no idea. What I would wager is that it's going to look something like that, which is not too dissimilar to what it currently looks like, and pretty similar looking to what the E53 is, which is a good thing. I think it's one of the best looking cars that they currently make. So yeah, that is probably what the S63 will be like. One interesting thing though is that there is of course no EV. This is a hybrid or plug-in, and they still have the EQS, which apparently is due a facelift if spy shots are to be believed. But the interesting thing for me is we recently had this unveil of the iconic grille, and it was in that beautiful animated series Batman style concept car. And I think a lot of people wrongly thought that that would come straight into S-Class immediately. Obviously not, that's a new concept. But that concept seems so suited to what an S-Class could be going forward that I wouldn't be surprised when we come to next generation, and I'm going to save this clip somewhere as one of my many predictions, that the future S-Class will make use of that iconic grille in a much more retro-looking 116-ish style car that could probably be both hybrid and EV. A little prediction for you today that I'm making. Now, we have to look at the interior. The previous one, it kind of set the tone for what every other Mercedes interior would do to its own detriment. This one has seen quite the upgrade, and it looks actually very, very different. So welcome to the interior of the new S-Class, which is significantly different to the pre-facelift because they've redone the entire screen structure in here. And this screen will be quite familiar to you guys because this is the super screen that we saw first in the new E-Class. It's probably what I said back then is one of the best screens they've made because it makes use of not just a large screen here and a passenger screen, which is all great, but a dedicated driver screen as well. And because they're both separate, it allows this one to set back a bit more, and it's in better reach than the hyper screens they've done in the past. So I'm a big fan of it, and it's nice to see it here in S-Class. The downside to this is, of course, that it is then very similar to E-Class. This is probably then the most similar looking S-Class interior to an E-Class that we've ever had. Though the devil is in the details because there are elements around it then that are undoubtedly S-Class, and I want to show you those. I just first wanted to show you that initial impression that you get that, okay, this is actually from that side really, really quite different. Now this is the view that you guys want to see. From the driver's perspective, you can see a big change for the S-Class, a lot more E-Class like, but there are certain details in here that have leveled up this particular style of interior, let's call it that way. First of all, the thing that you notice is, of course, your ambient light bar that goes across the entire dashboard and flows basically across the entirety of the car, even in the back, leading across our two individual seats. See the welcome home there, which is the theme of this car. But yes, the ambient lighting flowing all around here, and that is kind of your first impression. Then we look at what they've changed in the details here. For example, these lovely new vents in here, which are all new shape. They have the ambient lighting highlight around the edge of them. And in fact, these vents can now be digitally operated via the system here. And it's simply a matter of choosing from here, and then you can see the vents move. And that includes the vents that we have over here. However, if you want, you can simply move them by hand as well, so you don't need to go through the entire digital process. In addition to that, something I found quite lovely, surrounding the screen is this metallic strip which gets much thicker and larger near the bottom, and then you can see in there you've got your hazard light element, you've got your climate, you've got your dynamic select, 360 parking, etc., your volume, all sitting within there. Here we've got 2 spaces to charge mobile phones, which is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? It's a lot of space taken for mobile phones that may change a long time into the future. Is that super future proof? Should mobiles be given that much priority in a car? I'm not certain. I mean, I know a lot of us just keep them sitting around anywhere, so there's an argument that a dedicated space for them, particularly one that's leather lined and stitched, is not a bad idea. And of course, you can see the perforation in here. This is going to be cooled, so that's interesting. Center console, you can see you've got manufacture here sitting within this metal mesh style trim finish, And then we have our cup holders, USB-Cs, etc. All the usual there. But this is a big change for S-Class. We've got the new 4th generation of MB.OS in here, which then features a 14-something inch main display, 12-inch passenger display, all sitting under the same glass. You've got your driver zone, which can be 3D optional as well. Then, of course, the big heads-up display that I hope to experience when we actually drive this car in the future. So that is your basis, right at the top of all Mercedes cars in terms of software. The other update here is in the steering wheel, where, as I showed you in the CLA shooting brake, we've brought back the rocker switches, A, for your Distronic and MB drive, and secondly with your volume rocker as well. And it's really great to get that physical element back into the steering wheels, because apart from that, these steering wheels have been lovely, and it's just having too much haptic stuff has put most of us off, and that is nice that they listen to us on the feedback. Now, in terms of the MB.OS system, the changes are significant. First of all, you can swipe through different styles, say a more sporty one like we have here. We've got this cosmic style, and it changes the ambience of the entire interior really quickly. It's really slick, actually. This one's called Asphalt. It's one of my favorite ones in terms of like an AMG style one. But it's easy to switch through then these themes, and you get a completely different look inside your interior. And indeed, your driver zone then changes commensurately as well, depending on which one you are in as well. So lots of customization, possible customization, very important for the S-Class customer. So that's great to see in here. More crucially for the user is the more intelligent Mercedes system that exists up there in that corner. And that incorporates ChatGPT, Gemini, Bing into search when you require it to, in order to give you information that you're looking for, and otherwise is apparently more intuitive than what we've had in the past in Mercedes assistants, and the past Mercedes assistants have been quite brilliant, so that's a high bar to beat. If we go into our virtual assistant here, we can modify the assistant. They have a number of different ones. We have the star as we have currently. You can do the more humanoid looking one, or one that I really like, which is the little Mercedes bobble. He's so cute. We're going to keep him around. Apart from that, it's a pretty intuitive system. It's a lot more smartphone feeling, if that makes sense. You've even got gaming on here. That's going to be much more useful for your passengers over there, where that screen will blot out for the driver, so you have that ability in here, which is great. And then you've got the ability to buy digital extras within here. There's loads of apps. We've got YouTube, we've got movies, we've got weather, we've got conferencing. There's a camera up there if you want to have a meeting. It can be an office for you if you want it to, or somewhere just to play some games when you're getting bored. So extensive, particularly compared to previous S-Class. I found the MB.OS to be good. I want to see them build on it more, particularly with more driver zones, not just limited to the themes that you end up with this in here. The other innovation they have done is, let's say it's a cold morning and you don't want to take your jacket off and you just jump in the car with your jacket. Instead, you tap on the seat heating here and they've got heated seat belts, which is fantastic. A, for the fact that you could sit in the car without your jacket on, but B, on a cold morning, that's going to be just a game changer for the driver and the passenger. So love that. But yeah, tell me what you think. Is it different enough? It's definitely better in terms of utility, but will it stand out enough compared to E-Class? One argument is that, of course, it's trimmed that much better. We're sitting in a manufacturer interior here, bright white. It is gorgeous. Like I have in my AMG GT, I want to steal this wheel and take it home. It is lovely. You look at the seats and the soft pillows, that, oh, so S-Class. This interior just looks absolutely gorgeous. In the rear, we have the individual seating option here, which you can see trimmed so nicely with the ambient lighting flowing around each seat. We've got the welcome home on the pillow rests as well. Now this is your individual seating on the rear, which is your executive seating, where of course you'll be able to recline further back in that passenger seat with the seat going up. And then we have the two 13-inch displays here. Now, I'm not going to delve too much into this because I want to live with it like I did the 7 Series. The 7 Series, of course, has that massive theatre display that comes down from the top. The issue with that is it blocks completely your rear view and there's no alternate digital view for you to see behind. So actually kind of dangerous. And these 13-inch displays, in reality, you're going to see just as much content because on the theatre display it's compressed. So hopefully in the UK, when we get this car to drive for a longer period, I'll get one with the rear entertainment pack and we can see what the kids think of this in real terms, because they are the experts, versus having a big theatre screen like the 7 Series had. Now this rear space, this is what S-Class is all about. And it's nice and spacious in here. Let's see if we can, here we go. This is going to be our executive seating position. So our front passenger seat goes all the way forward, and then this seat begins to adjust. We get our leg rest moving forward at the bottom here. So my feet are up. I'm sitting here rather relaxed in the back. This is the only way to travel in a Mercedes. Now look, our screen is all the way over there. That's not great, is it? Which is why Mercedes have created instead, whoop, almost dropped it, this. No, it's not a phone, but essentially what this will do is allow you full control over everything that this system would otherwise allow you to do, which is great. So we can instead go in here, we can choose the ambient lighting. Say we want to move to, we're in Malibu Sunset at the moment, and we want to go into the burning blue. Well, you can do that through all the controls available on here, and then that allows you to control everything as the boss of the car via these, rather than having to interact with that. That's not a bad way of actually doing it. It's quite, I think, a well thought out solution for someone who's going to spend a bit more time in the rear of these cars. This is absolutely beautiful, isn't it, with the ambient lighting surrounding it. It looks as nice as the ones in the front. You've got your heated and cooled cup holders in here. Of course, tons of ambient lighting that highlights your experience. Our nice soft cushion covers. I love how the ambient lighting flows in the back there. Bit of storage in the back there for glasses, and your typical S-Class refrigerator. This I'm not sure about. I know it's a big charging unit, but really, right in the middle of the interior in the back, and like it doesn't retract. Strange one, that. Though what is nice in this individual interior is, for the serious business user, you have a proper table here that's also leather trimmed. So someone like me who wants to edit on the go, absolutely perfect. Or you can sit here and have a meal, because with the active suspension it's going to be damn comfortable and your food isn't going to go anywhere. So all bases covered if you want an executive interior in the S-Class. The rear of this, you know, pretty damn similar to my back, if we're honest. Okay guys, we have a third car here with those lovely new multi-spokes, and this has a new interior option, which is the beach brown interior. And it is very nice. You guys know I love brown interiors, and it's I think it kind of takes from that type of high fashion idea of, you know, brown being akin to luxury with your diamond white stitching. It's a very cool brown as well. I don't know if that will translate on the screen. I'll try and get the color right in post-production, but it's lovely. It's got a bit of a terracotta feel to it, and I think it really, getting a color in the S-Class, I hope people just don't spec black, because it really helps you see just how lovely the interior structure of this car is. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of that, a lot of the excitement, if you don't get the trims right and you don't get the leather right. Now, if an S-Class with pre-made manufacturer options is too basic for you, too commoner, you can get their made-to-measure service, where they have over 150 paint shades, over 400 interior shades, and you get a one-to-one consultancy at the Centre of Excellence, or anywhere you want. They will do it around the world if you want to sit at your home and choose out your own paint colours and your leather. And they have a proper visualization tool as well to show you what your final spec will look like. So if you want to have, you know, something a bit zany, something a bit different, like a sand colour or a azure blue, and you want to match that with some classic Napa red, that's up to you. And there's so many colours here, so many from history. You'll see Green Hell Magno from the GTR. You'll see Hyacinth Red Magno from the G63 Squared. Really, it's up to you what you want to do with a manufacturer S-Class. So really, this made-to-measure service, it's individualization at its finest. It's a bespoke suit. It's exactly tailored the way you want it to be. So guys, that's the new S-Class, the biggest facelift Mercedes has ever given an S, with an exterior that's finally worthy of the ultimate three-pointed star and a proper engine lineup. It genuinely feels like a welcome home. Can't wait to experience it behind the wheel. If you've enjoyed this episode of RBR, drop a like and subscribe for more new Mercedes coming really soon. See ya.